Here in Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, the two rivers converge. The White Nile comes in on the right under the bridge to join our much larger Blue Nile. It was great to have the team back together again. War and violence are widespread in the Sudan, and yet we never once ran across a single militant extremist. Here we were surrounded on all sides by happy, good-hearted Muslim people giving us the warmest of welcomes. And they were amazed at how far we'd traveled down the Nile.
Pasquale, how did you say hello?
We're heading for the ancient city of Meroe, one of the Nile's best-kept secrets.
ليا فيك شجون وأمنيات وأحلام وأغنيات ولحوم في الصبا وغرام أهلي فيك يا نيل مخلصين وكرام للحزين ماسحين دمعة الآلام.
In the remote desert of Sudan, the Nile flows right past an ancient ghost town few outsiders have ever visited. We're among the lucky few. The Nubians ruled this region of the Nile for over 1,000 years. Over 2,000 years ago, these pyramids of Meroe were surrounded by forests. When the Nubians cut all the trees down, they allowed the sands to blow in and hastened their own downfall.
I feel the loss of a great civilization and the loss of the forests. The systems that support life are so fragile. If we don't nurture them, they turn to sand and dust.
Here on the banks of the Nile, we heard haunting echoes of an ancient dynasty, half buried in sand and obscurity. Why, when the Egyptian pharaohs are so revered, do the Nubians still languish in the shadows of history? It's the greatest mystery we've encountered along the Nile.
Sudan proved to be full of surprises. The friendliness of the people, and the haunting beauty of this lost kingdom, the Kingdom of Kush. Near the border of Sudan and Egypt, the Nile River flows into Lake Nasser. A fishing boat captain warned us that we'd never get across Lake Nasser safely in our tiny rafts. To make up for lost time, I decided that Gordon and I should keep crossing Lake Nasser by night on our own. Big mistake. A huge windstorm came up out of nowhere. The wind was
was gusting up to 60 miles an hour, and the cold spray was freezing us to the bone. We were 10 miles from shore. If a big wave knocked us overboard, there'd be no way for anyone to find us, and we'd die of exposure. Pasquale was in bad shape. I was afraid he wouldn't make it.
We're all very tired. We're very tired from the wind and the sun on our faces and the water. So tonight will hopefully be a good night. It's been a long, long haul at this point.
This has come down to the grind. It really has come down to the grind.
I was battling a relapse of malaria. I had chills, fever, and I was just totally exhausted. I was sore, I was sick. We hated to give up our dream of running the Nile, but it just wasn't worth dying for. But the next day, I was revived by a pharaoh's dream and a remarkable survival story.
When the Nile Valley was flooded, ancient monuments disappeared beneath Lake Nasser, but this one survived. In 1260 BC, the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses the Great had this temple built along the banks of the Nile.
As an Egyptologist, Miriam lives and breathes this stuff.
"40 years ago, the new man-made lake was about to flood this temple. To save it, workers carefully cut the huge temple apart and moved it block by block to higher ground.
Moving this temple was a heroic effort. If they can pull that off, Gordon and I could finish what we set out to do.
The ancient Egyptians studied the stars and used that knowledge to create the first accurate calendar with 365 days a year. The temple was perfectly lined up with the sun. On a prescribed day, the sunrise reaches deep into the temple to light up the royal statues. Exactly how they were able to achieve this was a mystery to me.
My Egyptian ancestors once had two things to fear from the Nile: too much water and too little. But no longer.
The Aswan High Dam has put an end to the catastrophic floods that once killed thousands of people. But the dam is a mixed blessing because the summer floods no longer enrich the farmland. They no longer leach salts out of the soil.
Look how high the river used to be.
Without the summer floods, there is no more need for these Nilometers. The markers the pharaohs used to track the yearly rise of the Nile.
We took a ride to an abandoned Christian monastery, just a few miles from the river, where Miriam found an unexpected link between religion and the Nile.